Item 9, approval of contracts and grants. 9.1, which is resolution authorizing the submission of application for locally funded capital projects. Take that one first, please.
So moved. Second.
Comments? Roll call.
Mr. Condemar.
Aye.
Mrs. O'Shaughnessy. Aye. Ms. Paul. Aye. Mr. Anderson.
Aye.
Dr. Kerrigan.
Aye.
Ms. Kashmirian. Aye. Dr. Griffin.
Aye.
Ms. Holliday.
Item 9.2 is the authorization to extend the lobbying services on page 41. Seek a motion to get that on the table, please.
Second.
Okay. Comments, questions?
Are we getting any bang for the buck?
Well, I gave you that, I talked in my comments there about some examples. One of the recent one was that stopgap bill, of course. So in that stopgap funding bill that we got the 27% from eventually came out, there were no community colleges in it. And I'll give credit to our lobbyists because they called me right away and they said, you should know Rita Mayfield's one of the sponsors of that. You need to call her right away. And we're going to go see her in her office right now. And then they got with Liz Brown, the president's lobbyist, and the ICCTA lobbyist, and community colleges were put into that bill. A week later, we got our funding. Now, they didn't do all of that, but they certainly did their job. You said. And they, they've been good about warning us and giving, Nick and I work with them closely and all that. Mostly I'm the contact, but Nick does a lot of background.
Yeah, I think there was a time when lobbyists played a big role when there was money, but I agree with you, man. I'm not sure we're getting any bang for our buck. In addition to the fact, as you mentioned, the President's Council has a lobbyist, which is paid for through our dues. ICCTA has 2 lobbyists that are paid for with our dues, and all of them are working together for all community colleges. So when you look at that stopgap bill or the budget or whatever, I mean, they're all already working in harmony doing that. I don't see how $60,000 for someone special for CLC to do what we've already got 3 other lobbyists doing. I think I'd rather spend our money somewhere else.
Well, we talked about before, when we were trying to do cost-saving measures, of trying to combine with somebody else, with other community colleges, and maybe having somebody represent more than one institution. Are you saying that the states, that the institution, that the agency that we all belong to already has that?
That's 2 of them.
So do we need to duplicate this? Is this a duplication? Is there something that we individually are getting from this? That's the question.
No, I see the reports as part of the executive committee of ICCTA, monthly reports from our lobbyists, and quite frankly, there's nothing that our local lobbyists, from my perspective, our local lobbyists is doing that the other 3 lobbyists aren't already doing and reporting that.
They have anything to do with the allocation of the funds that were set
Yeah,
aside for
with the
community?
CDB.
Oh, absolutely.
Or another
And
example.
in addition to that, we can pick up the phone at any time and call ICCTA and specifically request our lobbyists. They work for us. We could specifically request them to, if we had something very specific, which quite frankly at this point I'm not sure we do.
Okay, wait a minute. They're different individuals than these people. Is that correct?
Yes, there's Mike Monahan, he is a registered lobbyist, as
Yes, but he
is,
doesn't go to the Capitol
as
anymore.
is Ryder. They're both our lobbyists, as does the President's Council has a lobbyist.
All right, well,
So the answer is yes.
are they doing active lobbying?
Yes.
Except Mike Monahan.
Well, Mike still is doing active lobbying, I just talked to him.
Well, the other fellow does, Tom does.
Tom Ryder, yes.
Tom Ryder
And Jessica.
Okay, so
and Jessica Narduli, so actually there's 3 there, and then if you add the one that the President's Council has onto that, then it's actually 4.
So did our lobbyists do anything for us when it came to the allocation of funds
Yes.
that were set aside? No, I mean our Cheryl Exley LLC. Did they do anything for us when it came to the allocation of the funds that had been set aside for the community colleges? I mean, what specifically?
Lobbyists don't actually do that there, but I will say this, some of the lobbyists did get involved. There was some lobbying and some back and forth about the language that went in the bill for how those allocations, because you got the two different formulas, right? You got the base formula and then you have the equalization, right? Let me give you one example of something that our lobbyists would do for us that you're not going to get Liz Brown or the trustees to do. So when we want all our legislators to sign that capital request and try to get our capital money freed up, Liz isn't going to do that for you, nor is ICCTA. They have other fish to fry. They have to take care of statewide stuff. So if you have specific, these lobbyists got us the funding for the Waukegan building, and they're not going to do that. So that's the distinction. I agree, though, with Barb. I mean, it's a question of what's available. I would tell you that right now, it's probably not the time to jettison this group, but there may be a time in the future. And I would say this to you, if you don't feel ready to vote on this, I'd be fine if we just tabled it and let the lobbyists come here and talk to you about it. You can talk to
Well,
them.
and I think the other thing too, and we've learned from past experience, especially if we're dealing with our legislators, they want to hear from us, you know? They want to hear from us, you know? So I pick up the phone and call one of our legislators, and Rich picks up the phone. I mean, that has a bigger bang for our buck than anything else, as opposed to sending a lobbyist in that they don't know, as opposed to hearing directly from us, elected official to elected official. So I think that's a role us lobbyists, or us trustees have played in the past, and could certainly play a much stronger role in the future.
You know, that all sounds well and good, but when push came to shove and the lobby day was held in Springfield, only 2 of us showed up.
There's nothing to lobby for.
Okay.
We did get them to commit to the capital letter.
Okay.
You know what,
Rich?
I actually like the
Yeah.
idea, Dr. Weber, I like your idea about having them come in and tell us what are we paying for? I mean, that makes a lot of sense, and if they can commit to some things on paper, I mean,
Sure.
you know, I think that's very reasonable. What do you
Sure
guys
it is.
think?
I-
It's reasonable?
I think I'm reluctant to sign a 1-year contract, and that's what this request is.
It is, yeah.
Well, it can be there's a
Oh,
cancellation.
wait a minute. Rich, what do you think about this? I mean, you're closer to that than some.
You know, there was a time when I didn't think lobbyists were needed, but this, unfortunately, in this discussion, it's not one of the times. This is the time we do need lobbyists. Otherwise, we'd be sending Nick down there every other day.
Where's Nick?
And, you know, Nick's very good and very competent, but he also has grant writing and many other things that need attention here. And to put 2 professionals, one Democrat, one Republican, working for the College of Lake County, and I know they take direction very well from Dr. Weber, they take direction very well from, well, you, Bill, and they did when I was chairman of the board. I like the 2 of them, and I think that this capital business can get jarred loose only by people like our lobbyists, because that's who the governor's going to listen to. And it's just a matter of getting it jarred loose, and this isn't the time to say, okay, quit doing that now.
All right, we're gonna have to make a decision. Who made the motion?
Dr. Kerrigan.
Okay. Do you wanna amend the motion, Dr. Kerrigan, to hold this in abeyance for another time, or?
Sure.
You wanna do that? Yeah. Okay. Is there a second? Who's it made a second?
Second.
Oh, second, okay. Okay, you guys okay with that? All right. Then we'll take it off and hold it in abeyance.